welcome, Frank Bastone. It is great to see you. Great to have this opportunity to speak with you. I'm going to introduce you in my own words really quickly, and then I'm going to turn it over to you because I'd love for you to introduce yourself and the social expert. Tell us a little bit about your business, what you guys do, maybe how you got started, and then how you got started into sales and helping people sell and sell more. But my own personal introduction to Frank. Frank is a partner, a very close partner with Nerdwise. Started 3 years ago as a client representing some other businesses and that we were reaching out to. Frank hired us on a couple, turned into a few more. We found this great synergy working together. And now Frank works with a lot of Nerdwise clients. We introduced him as part of our process to meet with CEOs and heads of sales and salespeople to find ways that they can improve their process. So I'm very excited to talk with Frank. He's become a close friend, a great partner of Nerdwise. So anyway, Frank, great to have you here. If you wouldn't mind, just tell us who you are, what you do, and about your business.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Patrick. It was very kind of you. Yep, I've been a partner with Nerdwise for 3 years, and it's been a great ride. Our businesses work very closely together. I have a company called The Social Expert, and we are a sales consulting company out of New York City. What I do is I help companies, early stage to mid-sized companies, organize their sales end to end. So I do everything from recruitment of salespeople and putting in best practices, writing job ads, doing the actual interviews, bringing somebody on, onboarding salespeople, and then actively managing salespeople. Also on my team, I have about 5 full-time people who do phone calls, SDRs that I rent out to clients. And I work with clients from end to end, from as soon as we start to think about having a sales team to what it looks like to get a referral once you've gotten a sale. And there's so much inside of there to be unpacked with salespeople. And, you know, the whole process put together, it really, it changes the game for companies. So there's a lot of great wins you find in that process.
So Frank, I know you touch all parts of sales, which I love in you as a consultant and consultants in general. Like, you're not afraid to get your hands dirty, jump on calls, make the calls, you know, work on the process, train, hire. You'll get the job done, which I love. What is it that like propels you? Because you clearly love what you do. You enjoy sales and you enjoy working with people on their sales. What propels you to love? Why do you love sales? What got you into it? And yeah, talk a little bit about what it is that makes you excited to talk about sales all day.
Yeah, I do talk about sales all day, every day, and it's really exciting. I had my first real sales position at Equinox Fitness, and I had just lost 100 pounds. So when I was 18 years old, I started lifting weights. I lost 100 pounds in that year. And 2.5 years later, after being a personal trainer, I wanted to be in sales. Equinox Fitness back then had 16 gyms. Now they have, I think, 150. So it was a much different company, but I was just so excited to be able to go in, get this job, and I got paid $65 per person that I added on. And I just took to it like a fish to water. And I had my picture, my fat picture, and my in shape picture on the desk. And I love people. So I started making phone calls, being there all the time, being very excited. And a lot of the management came in and said, Frank, why are you, doubling and tripling the sales of everybody else? And I was so enthusiastic. So I started to really think about why I did it. And there were certain things that I did again and again and again, naturally. Some people say you have this natural thing, but that, building these relationships and asking for referrals and working out with people and getting to know the neighborhood and going out for drinks afterwards. So there was a lot of this building of networks, which has done me well for my entire life, how we met, so it was really about building networks. And then management came in and said, do you think you could train some people? So I brought a few people in, we did a little training, and they started getting better. And then, they said, do you think you could do some corporate selling? And I started selling on a higher level into companies. So Google and Bear Stearns and Lehman Brothers, and opening up those accounts. And it got me excited. I loved it. I could generate my own income, and I could make myself a tremendous amount of money, like more than I ever thought I could make in the first year. And it was amazing. So the harder you work, the more money you can make. And, the more people that you know, the more you can monetize that and add value to them and increase yourself. So that's why I love sales. I know it's a lot, but
yeah. Yeah, and I mean, it's clear that you like people too, and you like, talking to people and getting to know them and asking questions. I mean, uh, I sometimes when I'm telling other people about you and giving them your phone number or introducing, I tell them that you sleep with a Bluetooth in, so you can like call Frank anytime. He's ready to go. And I think that is something that you can't teach. You need to find, in some cases, the people who are that have that comfort level, that sort of social they're extroverted, more social than others. So I'm guessing that's what you like about the name of the company, the social expert, is that social part of it?
Absolutely. It all starts with a relationship, and the next person that you meet could be, your next boss, your next big client. I mean, your next husband and wife. Like the people that you meet in the world change your life every day. And I think that if you develop a system for finding these kind of people, which I do when I recruit with a series of steps, but you can find people who are really naturals, and you throw them in the water and you give them a good plan and you onboard them correctly, which is something that many companies don't do. You can really, really get a huge result from a younger salesperson or somebody who's new to selling. I ask CEOs, what does your customer journey look like? And their eyes light up and they say, my customer journey looks like this and this. And I say, what does your salesperson's journey look like? What is the first 30 days? Where's their scripts? Where's their training? And they kind of go blank. So it's amazing that we don't understand, as small business owners, we wear a bunch of hats, and, you're a great salesperson, right? You're great at sales. You drive sales for your company, but some people are not as social as you are, and some founders are not like that. So when you ask them about their sales side and there's no structure there, you have new salespeople who come on and they kind of have like buyer's remorse. You get this young, excited salesperson, they come on and there's no plan, there's no leadership, there's no strategy, there's no mentoring. And that's kind of the things that I like to provide for these companies.
So you touched on structure and onboarding, and I think in some ways those go hand in hand as being important factors in the success of a salesperson. What do you think are the top one or two things that make a salesperson like good to great? Like what makes the very best salespeople? What are the things that they do differently, or what makes someone go from being a good or an okay salesperson to a social expert?
Attitude, positivity, optimism, those things are huge. Being able to take something positive from any outcome. We deal with a lot of rejection in sales, and there's a lot of salespeople, especially in this market right now, with the changes that have happened with COVID, that are out of work. And there's a lot of salespeople that are really strong. They say farmers and hunters, people who are strong with customer service, but there's a lot of salespeople out there who have great sales resumes and can do a great sales speak. But when it comes down to it, they're not a hunter. And a lot of young companies need hunters, and the energy, the enthusiasm, and the way they look at life is just a little bit different. So what I try to do is help companies not fall into the trap of seeing a great resume, meeting somebody and liking them, but not asking them some deeper questions and have some more processes. And one of the things I do is even give people a sales assessment test, which is a pretty an interesting tool that you bring in. But a lot of times, if you identify this killer instinct with this optimism and this excitement for life and being able to take a bunch of rejections, how many times I get rejected every single day, and saying I learned something, or that person's gonna think of me or whatever. I think those are the top things I think about when I think about a great salesperson.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, it's true of anything too, but especially sales, where you're taking punt hits left and right, and you have to be able to deal with a lot of rejection. Just you got to, and if you don't have the attitude that you're getting to your next, every no for me is every no is closer to a yes. Every time somebody doesn't move forward, I'm one step closer to the one that's going to. That type of attitude is it's critical, and that's the stuff you can't teach. Which I love as the segue to my next question, which is around professional advice. And was there ever somebody who either gave you great advice that sticks with you today, or even bad advice that sticks with you? Like I can look back and remember sometimes someone told me something and it didn't connect with me, and I was and it actually did the opposite. I kind of heard it, and then but what, good or bad, do you have, is there some advice that either you received or that you would give as like the best sales advice or or just great professional advice that kind of guides you?
Yeah, I had a few great managers and mentors that I've worked with, and one of them was at Equinox, and I would get really upset when people weren't living up to the standards. So when the salespeople I was managing were not catching on or being lazy, or they would send an email late, and he sat me down and he used to say to me, "Assume good intentions." He's like, "You what you're doing here is you're saying they're lazy, this, and they may be." He's like, "But always assume good intentions. When someone doesn't get back to you right away, always dig deep and think, let me assume that the intention is good here. Let me assume it's not malice, and let's try to fix the problem." And I used to go off the handle a little bit. So that was some great advice that I got, and it really helped me to reframe things. So when someone's not getting back to me, when someone's not, I always say, well, maybe they're stressed out, maybe they're busy, maybe they're so. Those are the kind of things that that stick with me. So assume good intentions is what I always try to do when I'm in a situation where I feel like somebody's not following through on something. I'm like, you know what, and it changes my frame of mind, and it makes me deal with the problem better. So that was a good piece of advice.
Yeah, that's great advice, and definitely resonates. I think you also, you attract what you're putting out too, and so you go at it with a positive attitude, you can have a positive outcome. Yeah, no, I love that. Do you have I hate to go back to back on advice questions, but sales advice?
Well, I have a bad piece of advice.
Okay.
So, I had another sales manager who came in, and I had a great relationship with my team, and it's very important to have a good chemistry with your team. I always say this in leadership and sales. And this is one of the VPs would come in, and he would say, "Guys, it's about smiling and dialing." I can't stand that term; makes me sick. It's about smiling and dialing. Just get the numbers in. And what I had my guys do was do some call research. And what I do in my practice is intelligent calls. Right? We have a script that we follow. We have a research, methodology where we're speaking to somebody and adding value. And those calls take a little bit longer, but they're much more quality calls. And he used to come in and say, "This is bullshit. They're only on 40 calls, and they should be on 85 calls." And I told him my calls are 4 times more effective than the stuff that you peddle. And it was just such bad advice to come in. And when people get hired today at a new firm, and I speak to a founder, yeah, just about numbers. Sales is a numbers game. It is a numbers game, but it's also a quality game. And
Yeah.
people get away from that. So sales is a numbers game, and I want my guys to do a lot of calls. What's the quality of those calls? And I always tell people, yes, it is, but if it's not a sales and quality game,
Yeah.
you're missing a lot.
Yeah, I saw a number that scared me the other day, and it was going viral on LinkedIn and being shared as though everyone agreed with that. Converting 1% of your leads is becoming like the norm minimum for SaaS businesses. No joke. There's a video out there, and this guy's even doing math and talking about the lead sources and where the problem comes from, but everyone's accepting this 1% rule. And I can't believe that, and it could be, you could say lead quality and whatever the case is, but the numbers game doesn't always mean more. It means a good ratio of, leads to opportunities to closes and deals. And yeah, so, but yeah, it's important. It's good to know. And that's what we love about the partnership with you guys is it helps the clients maximize the value of those leads, those opportunities. I want to maybe look ahead a little bit, Frank. And what does your business look like for you in this next year? Where do you see your growth coming from? What types of things are you guys looking to do in the next few months? Throughout the year. Can you talk a little bit about the plan for what's coming up?
Sure. Super excited about 2021. COVID has been hard on a lot of people, and it's been a tough thing for the country. But looking at the bright side, which we do as salespeople, it's displaced a lot of great sales talent. And I've been able to find people who would not normally be free in the market and employ those people. So I'm building my own team. And as people are not going back to their office spaces, the remote work world is going to continue and grow. And the training methodology that I use and the structure that I have around sales teams is more needed now than it's even been before COVID. So I see a lot of growth. I would like to have, by the end of 2021, I'd like to have 15 to 20 guys and gals making phone calls and supporting on that side. And then just keep increasing partnerships with companies like Nerdwise and adding value. But I see a lot of growth because there's so many founders who are so smart and so talented. And I speak to them all the time, and they love what they do. And they say, I love what I do. I have a passion for this software or this methodology or this product. And I can sell it. And they tell me a lot of times I can sell it. So when I'm on the phone, my conversion rate's 80%, but they're subject matter experts. So when I ask them, you can sell it, great, but can you teach somebody to sell it? And what have you thought about that? And that's where a lot of them stumble. So that's where I can come in and pick it up. So I think that there's a tremendous amount of growth, and I'm really optimistic about 2021.
Yeah, that's great. And you say that, and I just think of myself as a founder. I didn't know how to sell until a few years ago. And I'm proud to say that because now I've learned, but I thought I knew for a long time. At least I observed a lot of great salespeople and was always part of the process, but never had to be in the driver's seat. So I think even those who think they know, if you've never created a system, a process, transferred that on to someone else and seen them do it, those are the things. Sometimes there's magic in being a founder or a CEO or a person who can get something done, but there's also, it's a different skill set to develop the process that can be someone's full-time dedication around driving opportunities and conversions. So I'm sure there's still a lot of founders and CEOs and budding sales teams out there that need your help. Frank, if you wouldn't mind, tell us how people can get a hold of you. What's the best way to get in touch with Frank Bastone?
Sure. So thesocialexpert.com, and I'm on LinkedIn, Frank Bastone. That's pretty much, and actually there's probably a link there on the Nerdwise website, isn't there?
Well, we're going to drop one in the video as well. And then of course, if you're in the Bronx or the greater New York City area, it's the Bronx, right?
It's the Bronx. It's okay. At the Bronx on the border of Queens.
I think I said Brooklyn one time and got corrected. So yes, they're not the same. Frank, thank you very much for the time. Great to see you as always, and look forward to doing more work with you.
Awesome, man. Thank you so much for the time. I will talk to you soon, Patrick.